Hello everybody, welcome to Atlas Tabletop Gaming and welcome to another 1500 point army list. And I've picked a doozy, so a lot of you have, would have seen the new Death Guard codex has come out. I got my hands on it on Saturday. I've been reading her. Yay! It was worth the wait, I think. It was due out prior to the new year, but we had to wait for some bizarre reason, and I think it was worth the wait. I had a really good read about it. There is a lot of improvements in my opinion in here, but this video isn't about the book and every single unit. I'm not going to run through every single unit. That's not what I'm about as a channel. I'm literally tonight going to present to you a 1500 point army that I've created that I would take down to my local gaming club, which is Gloucester Tabletop Gaming Community. I'll put a link to their Facebook in the description in the video. I'll also put the list in the description of the video as well, so you people at home can critique it as much as you want, no problem at all. And I've chosen this army because I feel that it contains enough to hold on to objectives, and you know, there are 2 units in this army that I wouldn't have normally have taken. Now, if you've read or watched my review on my whole Death Guard army, I mentioned a unit that I would never take in a million years because I just didn't like it. Actually, the points drop and this codex makes it really good to be able to use them. And you can see just in front of you there are no Blight haulers in this list, and normally I would include 3 of them in a list, but at 140 points they're really good, but at 140 points I won't include them in a small army like this one. So this is 1500 points of Death Guard. I will run through the Warlord traits, relics, all the good stuff, what company I'm taking as well, and I'll go through each unit as one and explain why I've taken it and all that sort of stuff. So get your pizza in, get your snacks in, get your beers in. Tonight I'm actually on the coffee. No more beer for me this week until Saturday when the rugby starts, but hey, it's rugby, it's a reason to get drunk, hey? So, Death Guard, new review of the codex of an army list that I would happily take down my club, and I think will do quite well. This is not an overly competitive list because I don't like taking overly competitive lists down my gaming club, just because it's not what the club is about. So, stay tuned and I will come back to you with the army list. Okay, so what we will do is we will start at the HQ, and for this army I have taken a Death Guard Demon print, and I will run through, like I said, the Plague Company that I'm taking, and then I'll run into the Death Guard Demon prints and how I've sort of set him up, as it were, to meet destruction on the battlefield. So I've gone for the Ferrymen Plague Company, which is the 6th Plague Company, and I really like this one. I really think it's quite good, although I can't benefit from the relic that you get from the 6th Plague Company, but that's okay. I've gone for a different relic anyway, and hopefully you'll all agree that it's quite a good relic that I've gone for. So, why this one? So the Warlord has the following ability. So my Demon Prince is my Warlord, and basically, well, an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit at the start of the opponent's movement phase. Half the enemy unit's move characteristics until the end of that phase. So basically what that means is if that is in engagement range at the opponent's movement phase, if they move away or try to, they halve their movement, and it's really good to do that basically. So if they're trying to move away from you, you're basically slowing them down, which I think is very Death Guard-y and really cool. I'll just mention what the relic is. It's if you have a Man Reaper, so like a Lord of Contagion, it's basically a buffier or beefier slicey, cleavy, stabby sword. It's quite good. So when you scythe it, instead of getting 2 attacks per hit, you get 3. So you've got 5 attacks basic. You do the maths, it's actually quite good. +1 strength, -1 AP, 1 damage on the scythe, and the cleave is +3 strength. -3 AP and flat 2 damage, which is again quite nice. A very good Space Marine killer there. But you are -1 to hit, but it's on your Lord of Contagion, so you're hitting on 2s, so you're turning it into 3s. And you could probably, because he's in Terminator armor, use the +1 to hit stratagem as well, and he goes back to hitting on 2s, which is really, really cool. But I haven't taken that. I've basically taken a Demon Prince. What really bums me out about Demon Princes in the Death Guard army is everything else has a buff to toughness. Yeah, the Demon Prince is still toughness 6, which is really, really shit. No, it's good, but if everything else in your army has got buffs to toughness, why hasn't a Noble Demon Prince? Help me out there, GW. Let me try and explain your logic if you can. Now, the Demon Prince I've gone for, I've given him a Hellforged sword, so he's +1 strength, which means he's strength 8 in combat, -3 on the AP and a flat 3 damage. That's really, really cool, and he hits on 2s, which again is really, really, really cool. And the Warlord trait I've given him is hulking Physique, and what that does, that gives you an extra wound, which is always nice, and each time an attack is made against this Warlord, an unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 for that attack fails, irrespective of any abilities that that weapon or model making the attack may have. There are other ones in there that's quite cool, but I've always liked hulking Physique, and the toughness of 6, actually that could be the difference between it surviving or dying. So yeah, really, really like that. And obviously he comes with the Lord of Death Guard aura for core units, which allows core units to reroll hit rolls of 1, which is really, really cool. And the relic I've given him is the plate, which basically gives me a 2-up armor save, and each time an enemy unit fights after it makes its attacks, if the bearer lost any wounds as a result of those attacks, roll 1d6. On a 2+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So you're basically just making him a little bit tougher with the armor save, which is really cool. And then if somebody is in combat with him and they are trying to slice him up a little bit, if he loses a wound on a roll of a 2+, that unit takes a mortal wound. So people have to really, really think about charging this guy, because one, he's fucking awesome in combat, and 2, if they do actually start hurting him, they're going to take some damage on the mortal wounds themselves on a 2+. So your opponent has to really think about what they want to do. If you see a Demon Prince, you should try and get it off the board anyway, because they are disgusting. And yeah, that's how I've armed him. He obviously comes with all the rules that Death Guard now have, and I've given him the Psychic Power Gift of Plague, which is, if manifested, select 1 friendly Death Guard unit with an 18 of the Psyker until the start of your next Psychic phase. Add 6 to the range of any contagion abilities that unit has to a maximum of 12. So you're again buffing the contagion, and if you don't know, I will quickly explain what that is now. So basically, at the start of turn 1, you get a 1-inch bubble on every unit in your army that has that ability to -1 somebody's toughness. Holy shit, that's really good. And then it gets distinctly better as the game goes on. So turn 2, I believe it's 3-inch. I'm just having a quick look at codex now, because I didn't think I was going to talk about that so early on. But hey ho, we're here. Let's just find it. Hey, well planned. Hey, I'm organised tonight, guys. Look how organised I am. Yeah, here it is. So battle round 1, it's a 1-inch range. Battle round 2, it's a 3-inch range. Battle round 3, it's a 6-inch range, and battle round 4, it's a 9-inch range. So as the game progresses, the closer you get to Death Guard, the less tough you're gonna be. It's flipping brilliant. I really, really love it. And there's lots of things that you can do with movement to make it a little bit better. And there's a reason why I've taken it. I haven't got the model yet. I have ordered it. It should arrive at some point. But there's a reason why I've taken that power, and it will all become apparent later on in the video. So that's my HQ choice. I always think Demon Princes are really, really cool to bring anyway. And the fact that he's gotten better You can give them an extra wound and all that sort of good stuff. I really think that 9th edition, they're going to be even harder to stop now. So I will now move on to my troop choices. So I've taken a patrol detachment and to get more bang for my bucks really. So if you hear any weird noises in the back like heavy breathing, that's the dogs who've just come back from their walk. They like to have a good pant and get involved. So troop choices then. So what are we going for? Oh Karl, you're such an original guy. Look, Plague Marines, 30 of the fuckers. Why? Because why the fuck not? They're really good now. They're all armed the same. So the Demon Prince is about 155 points. I decided not to give him any of the new deadly pathogens because I didn't have the points for it. And I didn't give him wings as well, although it's modelled with wings, he doesn't have wings. Okay, so Plague Marines. No, they're just your standard Plague Marines, aren't they now? So I basically armed them all the same. So I've got 10 in the unit. I've given the Sergeant or the Champion, just comes as standard. So they come with a bolter and a plague knife and some grenades, which is a really cool option anyway. They have changed in this edition. Used to be able to really max out plasma guns in a small squad. They've changed it up, so it's like 1 in 5, which is great. I mean, there is a lot of salt going around at the moment about that, but do you know what? It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. The people that are whinging and moaning, so just get on with it, play the rules as they are, and have fun with your army, because I think you're going to have a good time with it anyway. So Plague Marines have changed as well. They're movement 5, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 5, but wounds 2 now. So they get 2 wounds standard like the normal Space Marines from the Imperium, so they get 2 wounds. So that 10-man unit has got 20 wounds, which is really cool, and especially now that 9th edition is an objective securing game, having a unit on there that has disgusting resilience and 2 wounds apiece make them very hard to shift, and the toughness 5 always helps as well. 2 attacks basic now, so they've changed it, so you now just get it in your stat line rather than having it as a when you charge or when you're charged or when you do a blah blah blah. It's now just 2 attacks basic. Leadership 7, Champion brings it up to 8, and you get a 3-up armor save. So all in all, pretty much standard, which is really cool. You can now put plague spewers in the unit, which you didn't before, which again, if you want to go sort of flamer heavy, it's like a flamer, it's not a flamer. Just imagine somebody vomiting on you, that's a plague spewer. Really nice, well done. And how I've armed them, all with bolt guns, apart from one dude who has a Blight launcher. I always like Blight launchers, I'm a sucker for them, so I've stuck a Blight launcher in there. It is, I believe, only still 10 points. There'll be people going, oh Karl, you idiot, melter guns, plasma. Nah, fuck it. I like Blight launchers, so a Blight launcher goes in. Blight launcher, range 24, assault 2, strength 6, AP 2, damage 2, and it's a plague weapon. Do you know what? For 10 points, that's really good, and they're very consistent. They've never let me down in games, so I like to bring them, and I'm going to bring them. I don't care. I think they're awesome. And that's it. I've got 3 units of those, and they will just slowly move up the board because you can advance them and shoot them as well with no penalties. And the bolt guns have changed as well, so they always rapid fire at 24 inches now rather than 12 or 18. So their rules have changed a little bit around that as well. So you are dishing out a lot of firepower, and there is a stratagem. If I just find it, which is what I've built these little dudes around, fill it with Krak, Karl, just keep ranting on. Oh, stratagems. Where is it? I saw it somewhere. Okay, so use this stratagem in your shooting phase. When a bubonic Astarte infantry unit from your army is selected to shoot, or in the fight phase, unit from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of that phase, each time a model on that unit makes an attack, add 1 to that attack's wound rolls. So obviously bolters, it's 2 command points, so it's not cheap, and it is called Eternal Hatred. I just like the name of that, that's quite cool. And basically what you do is you just Marines, toughness 4, so you're wounding on 4s, you add 1 to that, so you're wounding on 3s. The new heavy assault intercessors, which is what we needed in the game. Your you'll be wounding them on, instead of a 5, be on a 4. So yeah, they make good marine killers at the moment, and weighted shots will always kill something. I know we all know that from experience in playing games. So that's really, really cool. I like them. I'm going to take 30 of them, and no fucks given. I like Blight launchers. Sue me. Yeah, so that's troops done. I will now then go on to fast attack, and like I said, I normally take a unit of 3 Blight haulers. They're not here today, guys. I've done something silly. I've changed my mind, which I'm allowed to do. Yeah, I think they're really good now because of the point shots. What are we talking about in a sec? Okay, here they are, guys and girls. Bloke Drums. I did a video not so long ago and I basically trounced them. I thought that they were over pointed for what you get with them. The weapons, if you take the plague spewers or the plague spitters, they degraded along with your model, which was crap. But that's all flipping gone. Way! These guys are usable again. Yay! This is just what we want. So, and they don't degrade themselves like they used to as well. So they don't potato. They don't heavy potato. They just float around and blow shit up, which is really, really cool. So the Bloke Drone, it's got movement 10. Weapon skill 3 now, ballistic skill 3. So all demonic engines in the Death Guard book have become weapon skill and ballistic skill 3, which is really, really good. Whereas before they were 4s, yeah, they weren't that great. So strength 6, toughness 7, 9 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 8, doesn't matter, and a armor save of 3+. Now, I've armed these 2 little bad boys with 2 plague spitters. I think the way to go is flesh mowers for an extra 5 points. I'll go into that in a second. But I've only got these 2 modelled, so this is what I'll take until I might buy some more and put the flesh mower on them, so I've got a little bit of options, a little bit of choice. Now, the Plague Splitter is a range 12, a soak d6, strength 6, AP 1, 1 damage. It's a plague weapon, so you can reroll 1s in the wound phase, and each time your attack is made with this weapon, it automatically hits. So they move 10. They've got a 12-inch range, so all of a sudden you've got a 22-inch range model, because you add your movement to your range of your weapons if you want to max out your movement to be very precise in your game. And you can advance them on a d6, so minimum 10 or minimum 11, maximum 16. That's really good when you add into the fact they have contagions of Nurgle. Remember what those were, guys? They can degrade people's toughness within range and as the game progresses. And my Demon Prince has the power that increases the range of that. So think of this. This isn't the unit I've taken them for, but this is sort of my mindset, the reason why I'm sort of taking these now. I get into, oh yeah, they're 130 points each now, whereas before they were 165, 185 points. So they've had a massive point reduction, which makes them really, really good to use now. So in Battle Round 1, the contagion range is only 1 inches. Boo! Within 18 inches, this dude can cast onto one of them an extra 6 inches. So if you get that off, you then got a 7-inch range. Nurgle's number, right, in turn 1. These guys, I've already told you, can move minimum of 11, maximum of 16. Now that the boards are smaller in this edition, you can actually apply that pressure almost turn 1, no sweat. And to do that, to reduce your enemy's toughness by 1 in your turn 1, they're going to have a really bad day when your heavy support choices or your big guns start firing, because -1 toughness is no joke. It can make the difference from wounding somebody on a 4 to a 3, or a 5 to a 4, or a 6 to a 5. Add some special in with the bolters, which +1 to wound as well. You can really stack that up and really put people in a world of pain and really make those bolters work for you. So I think that's a really good tactic, and that's something I will employ. And I've got 2 of them, so I've got a little bit of choice as to which way I want to go with that. So that's sort of my thinking over that. And like I said, they're only 130 points now, whereas the Blight Hauler's gone up to 140. Yes, you get a lot of good shots and they're a very steady unit. These guys come with a 5-up in run because they're a Demon engine, and they get disgustingly resilient. So if a damage 2 weapon hits them, that gets knocked down to damage 1 and 3 to 2, 4 to 3, 5 to... You get the picture. Yeah, so they'll survive. They'll really stay there and do a lot of damage. and you also get something called putrid explosions. So when this model is destroyed, roll 1d6 before removing it from play. On a 4-up, it explodes, and each unit, excluding Nurgle, so you can blow it up as you like and not affect your own army, which is really, really cool, suffers 1 mortal wound, which is cool. So if you fly it straight into your enemy and you're 2 inches away because you don't want to be in 1 inch because you're in engagement, or if you're even in combat, you can use it as a bomb. There is a stratagem in the codex that allows you to automatically blow it up. And that again is something I will use. I will, let me find it, what's it called? Putrid Detonation. For 1 command point, use this stratagem in any phase when a Death Guard vehicle model from your army is destroyed. Do not roll to see if that model explodes. It does so automatically. If that model has a wound characteristic of 9 or less, the stratagem costs 1 command point. Otherwise, it costs 2 command points. So for 1 command point, you can automatically blow them up, and that's really, really cool because you get that 6-inch bubble, and if you're in the middle of somebody's army, because they have the fly keyword, they can just fly over their front line and use them as a bomb for 130 points. I think that's quite funny. It's only 1 mortal wound, but it's funny. I like that. I like winding people up with those sort of things. So that's really, really cool. Yeah, I actually think these are really doable. And I did say at the start that I will mention the Flesh Mower, which is always really, really good in the previous codex. And it's still quite good now. So you get +1 strength, so it's a melee weapon. +1 strength, so you're strength 7 in combat. You're -2 AP, which is good. So your Space Marines is getting a 5-up save. I keep mentioning Space Marines because let's be honest, they're the meta. That's the most armies you'll probably face in your club, in your competitions or what have you. Yeah, and it's damage 2. Again, 2 wound Space Marines, Primaris, all that sort of good stuff. You're going to hurt them. It's a plague weapon. So you can reroll 1s on the wounds, which is always good. But here's the kicker: the Bloke Drone has 4 attacks basic, but the Flesh Mower allows you to make 3 rolls instead of 1. So you are looking at 16 attacks. Yeah, you heard that right. 16 attacks at +1 strength, -2 AP, and a flat 2 damage. So potentially you could do 32 wounds. Flipping it, that's quite good, isn't it? Even with rolling dice, you should be able to charge one of these into a unit of Space Marines or Primaris and really, really, really hurt them, which makes Papa Nurgle happy. So, I've completely gone back on myself. I highly rate Bloke Drums now. They've had a massive point drop. The rule changes, they don't degrade anymore, their weapon doesn't degrade anymore. Oh, you can, should mention this, you can include a heavy Blight launcher. Again, I like Blight launchers. It's an Assault 6, range 36, strength 6, AP 3, 2 damage weapon. Really, really cool. But I think these guys are designed to get up in people's faces and really put hurt on them with the flamers and the contagion and blowing themselves up. Brilliant. I love this unit. It's really, really good. So that's my fast attack. Let me know if you agree with it, if you agree with the points that I've made as well. I've probably missed another stratagem that makes them even better, but do you know what? That's how I plan to run these guys. So I will then move on to my heavy support choice and go from there. Okay, and we are back with my heavy support choice. So I have gone for 2 Plague Burst Crawlers. Now normally in 8th edition I wouldn't have taken these guys. I didn't rate them. A friend of mine showed them to me and I've painted one of them up and just got to finish the other one off. And I now really, really, really like them. I think they've made some really good additions in the codex. So let's just go through it. They've changed the weapons slightly, they've changed the stats slightly. 2 of them, they're 175 points each, but they are a really cool unit to put hurt down onto your enemy and take real advantage of the contagions and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll just go through it now. So Plague Burst Crawler has a potato profile, a heavy potato profile and a normal profile. So normal movement is 9 inches. Weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 3, so now that's a big change because obviously it used to be it's a Daemon engine, so it used to have a 4-up ballistic skill. Strength 7, which is cool because that's Nurgle's number. Toughness 8, wounds 12, which is always good. 4 attacks, a leadership 8, and a 3-up armor save. Okay, and then obviously the potato profile is movement 6. BS4, strength 6, toughness stays the same. Yep, so I just mentioned the stuff that changes. And then heavy potato you're looking at, which is 1 to 2 wounds left, 4-inch movement, ballistic skill 5, strength 5. Okay, yeah, so it's good. It's a nice model as well, and just that extra little bit of ballistic skill for me makes them almost an auto include now. In my armies at 1,000 points, maybe 1,500, which is what this is. Definitely 2,000 points, definitely 2 as well. So how have I armed these guys? So I've armed them with the side sponsons of the Entropy cannons, which is a range 36, heavy 1, strength 8, AP 4, damage D3 plus 3. It's also a plague weapon, so you can reroll ones on your wounds. Now, this is where this weapon has changed. D3 plus 3, it used to be D6 damage, but now you're guaranteed to do 4 damage with them, which is really, really good. So, you know, you are putting 8 damage out if you get through the wounds and saves of your opponent, which you will do with an AP4 stat, so you should be able to get through tanks and stuff like that relatively easy, especially if you're coming up against tanks that don't have invuln saves. So, you know, like your Lehman Russes, Predators, and all those sort of tanks that don't have invuln saves, that's really, really good. And you're guaranteed to do 4 damage if you get through, so you could do 8 damage, which is really, really cool. And then the other weapon is the Plague Burst Mortar, which has a 48-inch range. Now, in the previous codex it was 12 to 48, so as soon as you got within like 11 inches, the main gun on the thing, which is why I didn't really like them, became inept. So if you're playing against a fast army like Dark Elder, Harlequins, Elder or White Skulls or anything like that that's quick moving, that can get where they need to go, or anything that can deep strike within 9, these guys couldn't really do anything against them with their main cannon because they'd have to move, which then meant they were potatoing their ballistic skill by 1 as well, so they became 5s to hit, which is why a lot of people started arming them with the Plague Spitters because they were auto hitting. But you don't have to worry too much about that now. With ballistic skill 3 it really does make a difference on the board. So yeah, it's heavy D6, strength 8, AP 2, flat 2 damage, so it's a marine killer. It's blast as well, which is really good. It's a plague weapon, and you do not need line of sight to fire it, which is really, really important. So if you wanted to, you can hide these little buggers behind a building in your deployment zone, securing your objective each turn and putting pain down field onto your opponent, which is exactly what these are designed to do in my eyes. You want these at the back, giving supporting fire to the rest of your army, advancing forward, claiming objectives, and these guys being a little castle at the back. Yeah, they could be a little bit more vulnerable that way, and if you wanted to, you could screen them, but you know, you deploy them correctly, people can't deep strike behind them anyway, yada yada yada. Really, really good. So they come with disgusting resilience as well, which is reduced damage incoming, and contagions and nurgle as well, so they put that minus toughness on people as well, which is why people might not want to get too close to them. So like I said with the fast attack, the Bloke Drums, chuck them at the battlefield quite quickly, use that contagion aura and the demon prints to add that 6-inch to it, and then use your plague burst crawlers to really utilise their strength 8 weapons and put damage down on key targets to remove them before they have a chance to even shoot you, because you don't need line of sight and they can't fucking see you. So that's really, really good. And I've also armed them with the Rothhail volley gun. I really like it. It's rapid fire 3, strength 6, -1, 1 damage. Quite nice if the enemy does try and get a little bit cheeky and get a bit close to you. You got something that can do a little bit of damage to infantry. Yeah, really, really good. They're 175 points, which I think is good. It's really well pointed for what you get from it. Has a 5-up invuln save, and it explodes again. So if you wanted to use that putrid stratagem to auto explode, you can do, because this guy it's on a 6, so maybe you want to use that if enemies are close. 6 inches, suffers D3 mortal wounds, which is really, really good. So it's sort of like a standard, but you can auto explode it for 1 command point. 2 because of the wounds being 12. So again, quite good. I mean, that's like your backup if you wanted to use it. I wouldn't say that's a main strategy. I mean, you want to use your bloke drones as your flying bombs. These guys, if you have it in a pinch and the enemy's got you in combat, why the fuck not have a little bit of laugh at the end of the turn when it blows up. and kill some of them as well. Really, really cool, like it. So that's my heavy support. And there's one more thing. It's a new model. I haven't got it with me. I have ordered it, so it should arrive at some point. And I will go through the rules with you in just 1 second. Okay, so this is the final unit choice in my army. It's a fortification unit, and it's called, don't laugh, Miasmic Malaga Nefire. I believe that's correct. I'm probably wrong, and you're all probably sat there laughing and pissing out your coffee. Don't care. Okay, so why have I taken this? I like the model. I think it's really, really cool. But I also like some of the rules that it comes with. So it's only 75 points, but it does come with the Contagions of Nurgle. So how do you use this unit then? So you can deploy it 12 inches away from your enemy. So you set it up as a terrain feature 12 inches away from the enemy's deployment zone and any enemy models. After it is set up on the battlefield, you can then set up the Pox Furnace terrain feature wholly within 6 inches of it, but more than 12 inches away from the enemy deployment zone and any enemy models. That's really, really cool. So basically, you set up, they set up, you go, ha, before we start, I'm putting this mother trucker 12 inches away from you or onto an objective, and claim that objective from, or just sit on that objective because it's quite a tough little beast, or you can use it in the way that I want to use it, which is use its contagion rules, because let me just find it. So it's called Toxic Presence, and it counts as being in turn 4 for contagion rules, which means it's got a 9-inch bubble of -1 toughness against you. Holy shit, 9 inches as soon as it comes down. So your enemy, if they start moving, if they get first turn and they get within 9 inches of it, or what have you, you're -1 toughness. That's quite cool. But do you remember that psychic power I've given my Demon Prince, which adds 6 inches to your contagion range? It only gives it maximum to 12, but you can deploy this 12 inches away and still on turn 1 have a 12-inch contagion range, which is really, really disgusting. And for 75 points, I actually think that's the way to go with this thing. It does have a little weapon, a range 12, it's called Noxus Stink. It's heavy D6, heavy 2d6, sorry, and it is strength 4, AP 1, 1 damage, and it automatically hits the target. The actual thing itself is toughness 8 with 12 wounds and a 3-up save. It doesn't come with any sort of invuln, which, you know, is fine. I think that'd be OP if it had an invulnerable save, but a 3-up save, it's toughness 8, it's got 12 wounds. If you put that 12 inches away from your enemy or your opponent, they have to deal with it. They can't just ignore it, because it's going to really hurt them as the game goes on. And it's toughness 8, it's got 12 wounds, so it's going to be hard to shift, and it also has disgustingly resilience as well. So your damage 2 is damage 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, you know, go on and go on. But it's on its way. I can't wait to paint it. It's a really, really cool looking model. So it'll be a nice sort of terrain feature, but it's only 75 points, so yeah. I think these things, if you're looking at, if you've got a spare 75 points, don't buy Poxwalkers, get one of these, they're much, much better. And yeah, that's it guys, that's the 1500 point list that I would happily take down my local gaming club. I don't think it's overly broken. It is designed to use some really cool stratagems with all the bolter fire that I can do, and the exploding of the plague drones, and the contagion rules, and the Demon Prince going in and doing some damage as well. And what I really want to do to sort of finish it all up really is talk about the elephant in the room, which is Mortarion. So what I will do is I'll quickly tidy up and talk about Mortarion and all the salt that's been flying around. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, and we're back with Mortarion. Wait a minute, that's not Mortarion. That just looks like a whole load of salt. And that's exactly what's been going on, guys and girls. I'm a part of a load of Facebook groups, as a lot of you probably are as well. And the amount of soap that's flying around Facebook, forums, Reddit about Mortarion. And it's, I think it's justified in some senses, but not in others. Mortarion during 8th, let's get rid of the soap, let's bring the big guy in. What do you mean, Morty, you want that soap back? Alright, you weirdo. No, get away from the soap, leave it alone, don't touch it. Just don't touch it, mate. He is really stupidly powerful now, but I actually think for the points cost, which is what, 490 points, I do believe that he is rightly point costed for what you get from him. He's not girly man, and I think he's absolutely incredible now. I don't think you should be taking him in at less than 1,000 points or even 1,500 points. Yeah, so I wouldn't take him in less than 1,000 points. I wouldn't even take him in a 1,500 point army. Although there's a lot of people out there, you know, that guy, that neckbeard guy who has to win at all costs. They will take him in 1,000 points, no problem at all. I just don't think that's the way. If you're playing a friendly game, you don't do it. If you go into a tournament, absolutely 100% you do take Mortarion. But if you are just going down your local club with your mates, you don't want to be bringing Mortarion in small games. It's up to you, it's your choice, but he is extremely strong now. And just an example, there's an Ultramarine forum that a friend is in, he posted a screenshot of what was happening last night. So this chap has put ITC should make a rule that pushes back against GW OP meta breaking sales of models, Morty being the newest example of OP. We all know GW needs to sell models, but ITC could list off the newest OP models until they get nerfed. You can't use them with these rules until nerfed. What you guys think? I think what that guy really needs to do is show somebody where Morty touched him, and try and seek some help for the pain Morty has caused him. But let's just go through his stats and his rules and what have you quickly, guys. And I don't want to drone on about Mortarion, this video isn't about him, but I thought, I'm doing Death Guard, I have to mention him. Mine's unpainted. I know I will paint him because he's in my box, and if you watched my hobby update you know what I mean by my box. So Mortarion at 10 wounds, so he can potato, so he's normal, he's a potato, then he's a heavy potato. He gets movement 12, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 8, toughness 8, 18 wounds, 7 attacks, Nurgle's number, leadership 10 obviously, and a 3-up armor save. He should have a 2-up armor save, he's a Primarch, but hey, whatever. He's armed with the Lantern, which is now a range 12 pistol, strength 8, AP 3, damage 3, but each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a line straight between the closest point of this model's base and that of the closest model in the target unit. Make 1 wound roll against the target unit and each other unit this line passes over. So it's a really cool beam weapon that goes pew and just slices up the ground. He then has Attendant's Claws and Teeth, which is a melee weapon, strength 2, no AP, flat 1 damage. It's a plague weapon, so you can reroll the 1s, and basically each time it's d6 additional attacks with that weapon. And then you have the Silence, which is a big sword that he has, stabby, slicey. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, you choose one of the profiles. So you got Eviscerating Blow, which is times 2 strength, so it's strength 16, AP 4, D3 plus 3 damage, and it's a plague weapon as well, so you can reroll the 1s on that as well, which is really good. But you're guaranteed to do 4 damage, which is nice. And then you got the Reaping Scythe again, which is user, so strength 8, AP -2, 1 damage. It's a plague weapon, so you reroll the 1s, but each time an attack is made with this weapon profile, you make 3 hits instead of 1, so you get 21 attacks. At strength 8, -2, 1 damage. Really cool. He also has a grenade called Phosphex Bombs, range 6, grenade 2d6, strength 5, AP 1, 1 damage, blast. Again, really cool, really like it. He comes Disgusting Resilience, obviously, Contagions of Nurgle. He's a Primarch, so he has to be a Warlord. And he comes with a 4-up invuln save, Host of Plagues, so you get to pick a Warlord trait for him. Well, you have to pick everyone's Warlord trait. Mortarion comes with 3 Warlord traits as standard, and you get to pick an extra one, and obviously because he's your Warlord in your Plague Company, he also gets that benefit as well. So what's that, 5 Warlord traits? He's 490 points. He should be fucking hard, yeah? He shouldn't be a little pussy like he was in 8th edition. So he also can explode as well. On a 4 excluding Nurgle unit, sorry, within 6 after D3 wounds. He's not a vehicle, so you can't auto blow him up, which is a boo. But he starts in the contagion range in turn 4, which is really good. So if you wanted to, that's a 9-inch range. You can cast that psychic power on him and give that a 12-inch range as well, which again, really nice, something really cool. So if I go through so I would always take him as Ferryman, as the Plague Company, because again, he can half people's movements if they are within contagion range. So if he's got 9-inch contagion range, you're halving people's movements within 9 inches of him. Basically, it's softly, catchy, kissy, catch the monkey, which is really cool. So, yeah, I'd always take him as Ferryman. And then the Warlord traits that he comes with is Revolting Resilience, which is each time this Warlord loses a wound, roll a d6 and a 5 up, that wound is not lost. So he still has a Feel No Pain, 4 up invent, 3 up save. He then has Living Plague, which is while an enemy unit is within 3 inches of this Warlord, that unit cannot be affected by aura abilities, excluding those that are psychic powers of units from your opponent's army. So he can shut people down. He can go up to Girly Man, shut him down. Claw, shut him down. Anything that has an aura ability, he will shut them down as when he's close. And that's what you want to do. You want to get him close, you want to be able to have him have that big impact on your game, and maybe side next to him some bloated drones as well to give him some support. And then his other auto Warlord trait is Arch Contaminator. While a Plague Company core unit is within 6 of the Warlord, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack with a Plague weapon, you can reroll the wound roll. Really cool, because all Death Guard infantry have Plague knives, which are Plague weapons, so they can reroll wounds in combat, which is cool. And then also each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack with a Plague weapon that targets a unit within 12, you can reroll the wound roll as well. So Plague Spitters on the Bloke Drums, they're Plague weapons. That really helps as well, so you can reroll the wounds, which is cool. And it really depends on what you want to do. So there's 2 choices now, because you can pick a Warlord trait. So you can either go Hulking Physique, which is you add 1 wound, so he's 19 wounds, which is cool. And any unmodified wound rolls of 1 to 3 for that attack fails, which is good. So if somebody's aiming a Shadow Sword at him or something with extreme, say, strength 16, there are big weapons out there, and that's what people will bring to try and counter Morty maybe. I think Mortal Wound Spam would take him off the board, no problem at all. But that's really good as well. Or you can take Rotting Physique, or Rotten Constitution, I do apologise, which is add 1 to toughness, so he becomes toughness 9, and each attack an enemy with an armour penetration characteristic of 1 or 2 is allocated to this Warlord. That attack has an armour penetration characteristic of 0. So say for example you charge him into a unit of Assault Intercessors with their Astarte chains with their -1, in turn 3 they're -2, they're 0 against him if you take that Warlord trait. I think that's really strong, especially against really hard combat armies. You just charge him in and go, yeah, come at me. Or people that are shooting at him, -1 and 2 weapons they're out there, there's a load of them. It just means they're minus the characteristic of 0, which is really strong. And you can also take something called Foul Effluence. While an enemy unit is within 6 of this Warlord at the end of your movement phase, you can roll 1d6 for that unit. On a 4 up, that unit suffers a mortal wound. That's a bit meh, I probably wouldn't take that. It'd either be Hulking Physique or Rotten Constitution. And there are certain bits and pieces, stratagems that you can buff him up and make him stronger and all that sort of good stuff. But there is a lot of salt about him at the moment, and I think it's justified, but also what people really need to remember, for at 8th he was a bit of a laughing stock as a Primarch. Now he's got a lot of teeth, he's extremely hard to kill and shift. Like I said, 2,000 points army, justifiable to take him, I think, no problem at all. 1,500 points, you're bordering that line. I think if you did 1,500 points, let your opponent know that you're bringing Mortarion. That gives him the option to go, actually, I might need to do something a little bit different to my list. And then if you're doing it in 1,000 points, go see a head shrink, you need your head looked at, because yeah, you're not going to make friends that way, no problem at all. So guys, absolutely thank you for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed my video tonight. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. I bring content every other day onto the YouTube, and yeah, thank you for watching, and take it easy and stay positive in your lockdown situation, guys. Stay positive. Speak to you all later.